The sound you hear is what some experts claim to be a Bigfoot scream. Recorded in the state of Washington by a group of campers in 1971, it is regarded as the highest quality audio of the creature ever captured.
Hello! Welcome to Bigfoot Real Encounters. We're glad to have you stop by. We'd also like to take this time to invite you to share your encounter. You can send your stories to the email bfrealencounters@mail.com, where we will feature your story with all of the respect that it deserves. So send your stories in, bfrealencounters@mail.com. We look forward to hearing from you and your great stories soon. Hello everybody, welcome back to Bigfoot Real Encounters. I'd also like to welcome all of the newer viewers to the channel. We're glad you stopped by. This is another safe place to present your encounter with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe people, whatever you wish to call them. You will not be ridiculed, you will be believed. They are real. People have seen them, I have seen them. And if a child tells you they have seen them, never ever discount what they say as imagination. Always take a child at their word. Always check it out, because it is probably something. Now maybe it's not a Bigfoot, maybe it's a human being, and that could be much worse. We know there are human predators out there. Alright? I'm saying this because I have heard recent stories that have been presented on other channels. I admit it, I watch them. And they have told stories when they were little that, well, the one child said he got whipped for making up stories when he told his father that he saw a Bigfoot. Now that's not cool. I also heard another encounter of a family who was having ongoing encounters with a Bigfoot, and one evening they woke up in the middle of the night to an open front door, and there was their little 8-year-old girl who was very upset and crying, and told them that she had been outside when they asked her, and said that she was taken out of her bed through the bedroom window. That is terrifying. Okay, folks? So these things do happen. We have heard of missing children where they have disappeared from their bedrooms. No trace, no explanation, never to be found again. Now, the Native American people have told us of the Bigfoot, and they have warned us for centuries that they take women, they take children, and that the tribes guard their women and their children at night after dark. So we must always pay attention to each other when we tell each other of encounters with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, as we're learning now, Sabe, another name for the creatures. They're actually human hybrids, which we're also learning. So yes, this is a safe place to tell your story. And now is the best time in history, it would seem, to tell your story, share your encounter. There are a number of websites out there and YouTube channels that are reporting people's encounters, and many people jumping on the bandwagon, so to speak, and sharing their encounters that they have kept bottled up inside for many, many years, because they were once shot down by the people who were supposed to have had their back. And now, with the advent of the internet and technology that we have now, we are telling our own stories amongst each other, and we don't have to rely on the news media to spread the stories and share the stories. at which time they laugh and have a big joke at our expense about it. We get the facts out on our own. So share your stories. Send them in to me if you like. bfrealencounters@mail.com. I will faithfully read your story, minus the cuss words, and we will not take out details. We want the details so that we can learn as much as we can about each individual encounter. Each little piece that we can put together will give us a more detailed picture of these beings so that we know what to do when we do come across them, and so that we have a better understanding of them. All right? Enough of that chatter. Let's get on to some stories. We're going to go to the state of Vermont, again in the northeast United States, and we're going to Lamoille County, if I said that correctly. Lamoille. I probably mispronounced it. Don't kill me, folks. So, this one says, the sighting was today, 8/16/2019 at 10:15 a.m. at our Vermont summer cabin. I'm 67, retired RN, and former private pilot with excellent vision, 2015. So I was not mistaken. It was not a bear. We have had a bear here by the deck, so I know what bears look like standing up to reach the feeder. It was a sunny day. My small Chihuahua mix was out front in her cage. She was barking, so I walked out to the front deck and looked toward the dirt road where she was looking. We sit back approximately 125 feet from the road. I saw a very black humanoid shape walking on two legs go past our driveway. It was half bent over, then straightened up. It had long arms swinging. The head was turned away and appeared to have a very short neck and roundish head from that angle. I said to myself, that looks like a chimp. I watched it for approximately 12 seconds until it disappeared behind trees going east on the road. There are spots that I can see through the trees to the neighbor's drive, so I was looking for it to either go up the drive or continue on the road. When it did not, I walked out to the end of the drive, approximately 200 feet, with my air horn. There was nothing on the road for some distance. Later in the day, I went out to that area with my small dog. She refused to even walk and was trembling. This is the same dog that almost went through a screen door to attack the bear by our feeder a few weeks ago. I noticed an area of bent weeds that would have been there where the creature had exited our woods, going into a small ditch and then back up to get onto the road before walking past our drive. On the roadside, in the direction I saw it going, there were 3 barefoot heel depressions with faint toe marks, approximately 12 inches long. The area was dry with fine gravel, so not a clear print. The week before, I had heard twigs snapping and weeds moving behind my fenced garden. This is approximately 40 feet from the porch where I often sit. The dog barked, the noise stopped and then started again, so I fired off my air horn, which I always have near after an encounter with a large coy wolf. The cabin sits about 100 feet above the North Branch Lamoille River. There are many snowmobile and ATV trails, plus the long trail is only 1 to 5 miles. 1/5 miles. I'm not sure what that means, folks. Sorry about that. Anyways, it was very wooded and remote. A few homes and camps on our road. So there she saw it walking and it kind of disappeared. Well, she didn't see it continuing on anyways. And the dog little chihuahua. Huh? Those are vicious little things. Fearless. And went and attacked a bear, or tried to anyways. Those little ankle biters, my goodness. There's some dogs. But these Sasquatch really have an effect on the dogs. They really do. And if you can have a dog with you when you're outside, I mean, it's a good idea. They will let you know. Anyway, I like the idea of an air horn, but I don't know what that would do with the Bigfoot. He might have a louder air horn coming back at you. Wow, that's very interesting. Kind of a fun story, I guess. Got to see one with really not a lot of scariness going on, and which is just another different type of attribute of an encounter. We're getting a better picture all the time of different encounters, different personalities of the creatures. Now, before we get on to any other encounters here, I would like to take a moment to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We do appreciate it when you do that. It does let YouTube know that there's interest in this channel, in the subject, in the topic, and it helps YouTube decide to promote it and to recommend it in upcoming and next videos for people that to watch something. Many times it doesn't even appear. I mean, I've gone incognito, the private viewing thing, and did research on my channel type of thing, and I typed in Bigfoot or whatever, and my own channel doesn't even show up. I would like it to show up, so hit the like button, have some comments, some interactions going on. The more this happens, the more likely YouTube is going to recommend these videos when they do come out. And let's face it, we want people to hear these stories. We want the information to get out. People need to know about it. So like, share, subscribe. I mean, send these stories to folks. They're good stories. Also, check out the links in the description below. All right, let's take a look at another story here in Vermont. It's an encounter. It is in Windsor County. I can pronounce that county's name, Windsor County, in October of 2005. And this one reads, my family and I went to Ludlow, Vermont for Columbus Day weekend since we enjoy the northeastern woods. We all enjoy observing the local flora and fauna in their natural settings, and we often drive and or walk the back roads looking for deer, moose, bear, and whatever else we can spot. One evening we went moose spotting on Tyson Road since during a summer trip to the same area earlier, we had observed 8 moose in one evening. As we drove along Tyson Road, I saw a large bipedal form cross the road in 2 strides. I asked one of my daughters, "Did you see that? Tell me, what did you see?" I purposely didn't say what I'd seen, since I wanted to know if she'd seen what I'd seen. I wanted to be sure I had not imagined it. Very quickly she said, "I don't know what it was, but it was real big, maybe 8 feet tall, hairy, crossed the road in 2 steps. She saw the same thing I did. It crossed the road about 50 feet ahead of us, and judging from the trees where it crossed the road, I'd say her height estimate is accurate, plus or minus 20%. My other daughter didn't see it since she was in the back seat and was looking out the side windows of the car. I still don't quite believe it, but I know what bear, deer, and moose look like in a natural setting since I've been hunting for 40 years. It wasn't anything I had ever seen in the woods. It walked across the road in 2 strides, was heavily built, covered in short, dark hair, and, as stated previously, approximately 8 feet tall. One more thing. The day before, we had driven the same area, didn't see anything at all. No fauna at all. But we did hear some very odd vocalizations that sound very much like the recordings available on the BFRO website. Wow, folks, now that's interesting. Probably one of the better ways to have an encounter is in your car, and it walks in front of you and you get to see it. I don't think I would care to be on foot and have those intense feelings of fear and get out of here type of things happen. So far we got 2 stories, and they're quite benign actually, and nothing scary, no angry faces, no screams, none of that type of thing. So I think we're doing pretty good, folks. How about you? But it does make for a boring story, doesn't it? We like to see the headlines where it stared me down, I almost died. But I can't look for all those stories all the time, because that would not be a true representation of the encounters, because here's encounters that are not that way. We want this to be an accurate representation of the type of encounters that actually occur. Not all nice ones, not all mean ones or whatever, but actually what actually happens. Whatever that might be, as many as it actually is, without leaning one way or the other. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. All right. Okay, let's see if we can find another one here. Oh, and by the way, these are coming from the BFRO website. I've not had people email me in their encounter yet. I guess you guys are still sitting back watching and checking me out to see how well I do. Okay, that's fine. I'm patient. We'll just keep reading these because they are encounters. People took the time to send these in and post them on the website. And I understand that before they actually post them on the website, somebody contacts them and vets them to some degree. So we can rest assured that these are more than likely very credible encounters and stories going on here. So if this happens to be your encounter that you sent in to the website, any of these that I'm reading, I would love to hear from you. Let me know if I'm doing your story justice, if I'm giving it an accurate representation. Maybe there's some things there that you'd like to add to it. Let me know. Contact me. bfrealencounters@mail.com. Maybe you've had some additional encounters. Maybe you'd like to tell your story yourself. You could send me a sound file. However you'd like to do it, but I would love to hear from you. All right? Great. So let's, what time? Okay, we're good. We can do another one. All right. I see one here, Chittenden County in 1984. And now this one reads, November 1984, between 12 midnight and 1 a.m. in the morning. The night my niece was born, there was a snowstorm. My brother-in-law had a custom car and wanted to go home to Milton to switch to his older car because of the sudden snow. My husband, brother-in-law, nephew, 3 years older than myself, drove from Milton. We were headed to my house in Winooski. We got as far as Gloucester when the snow got real bad and the car slid into a ditch. My nephew began to cry and scream, so we flagged down a truck to bring me and my nephew to my house to call a tow truck. I left my husband and brother-in-law in Colchester. My husband said while they were waiting, they started to hear noises in the woods, like trees breaking. Then they heard something that was coming in their direction, but it was stomping on 2 legs. They could hear breaking trees coming closer. My husband is a hunter, and he said you could tell it was walking on 2 legs. They backed away from the side of the road to the other side. They couldn't run because the road was too slippery, and they only had on sneakers. Meanwhile, they kept on getting closer. It started to part the trees when the tow truck came, and they heard her running back into the breaking everything in its path. My husband was very scared. They both were. and they told me what had happened. I half believed them. The next day I drove through the same place and looked around. As I drove, I saw fields and woods and thought that it looked too peaceful and really thought that they were nuts. I had to pick up my husband in Milton. I had my daughter with me, 10 and 13. I was pregnant at the time. Anyway, I got to Milton. Later that night, we headed back to Winooski. Well, wouldn't you know it, it started to snow really hard like the night before, and it was around midnight again. We started to go through the same spot as the night before, and I started to tell my husband about me looking around earlier and that there was nothing. When there it was. It just crossed the road and started to go up a hill. It was staring at us with one foot on a wire fence, holding the wire down with its arm and just staring at us. It was not brown, but white with yellow dirty streaks, and his eyes, they scared me. They were reflecting a yellow amber color like the yellow on caution lights. Huge man. It was at least 10 feet tall, arms very long. His fur was long. On his face, the only flesh part that did not have fur was his eyes and upper cheeks. My husband started to slow down to get a better look. That's when I freaked out and started to hit my husband because I was so scared. And my girls were screaming, so we kept on going. I just kept on thinking about its eyes and was afraid, so we wondered if they know it's there and we don't want to get shot looking. Wow, there she was. She didn't believe them, and all of a sudden she gets to see it herself. And isn't that something? So I'm telling you, you got to take people at the word, especially people that you love and you're supposed to have their back. We have to start trusting each other, folks. Yes, people pull each other's leg and play jokes and all that type of thing, but we know the difference. If somebody keeps insisting, no, this is what happened, don't sit back and call them a liar. That's a betrayal. All right? Anyways, enough of that. This one was a little more scary. It scared the woman and her children. They were screaming. It was staring at them. It was a big one, but yet again, she called it a huge man. Isn't that something? Just more evidence, more information to add to what we keep collecting and gathering here in all these different types of encounters. And they always look more human than anything, don't they? When we get right down to the people who actually saw them, rather than some scientist who never leaves his laboratory saying, oh, it's an ape. Okay, you saw it? No, you didn't. All right. Well, the American Indians, Native Americans, have told us for centuries that they are people and that they have their own language. They have trade with them, all that type of thing. So I think we should listen to the people who have the experience with them rather than people who do not. 3 great stories, folks. And once again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check out the links in the description below. It's summertime. We're all doing a lot of outdoor things. Be aware of your surroundings. Listen for those twigs snapping in the distance. Be safe. Until the next one. Once again, another great story. Thanks for tuning in. Please share your encounter. Email us, bfrealencounters@mail.com. Your story is very important. We will treat it with the respect that it deserves. Also, be sure to smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Thanks once again. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Watch out for our next video. Maybe we'll feature yours. Have a great day.